Hey everybody, welcome back to Mini Bike Mike's. So as you can see, I've got the Amigo Rocky and we're going to start doing some testing on it this week and see how it compares to the IceBear Champion that we did a few videos on in the last couple weeks. Did some different runs with different configuration of tires and carburetors and those sorts of things. I've taken this bike out on its first run today and I put the stock carburetor back on it. If you remember right, if you go back a couple weeks when we first got this bike, it didn't run right out of the crate. We had some run issue problems, and we found out that when they installed the carburetor, they put the little rubber insulator upside down, and it had a huge air leak in the intake and would not run off of choke. So we originally threw a aftermarket carburetor on it and did a ride and so forth, but to really test it correctly, I wanted to put the stock carburetor back on it. So it's got the stock carburetor, untouched exhaust, the stock tires. The only thing that's not 100% stock on this right now is I did do away with the emissions, the California emissions, that tube and stuff that was hooked to the head. So, you know, if that alters our testing a little bit, it alters our testing, but I'm not going to run the bike with that on there anyway. So here's what I got in today's run. Let's see if I can get the camera down there. So we averaged 24 mile an hour and we hit a top speed of 46.9. Now I'm not going to lie to you, I'm shocked it hit that speed. This thing, got a rock in my knee. This thing has terrible gearing. I know it has a 35 tooth rear sprocket stock from the factory. I believe it has a 14 tooth counter sprocket on the front. Horrible gearing. How we hit 46.9, and I tell you what, I think it might have had a little bit more, but the engine was running at such high RPMs, I was afraid I was going to throw a rod or something on the thing. We hit 47.1 on the IceBear in its stock form, so this thing, it was right there. I did like the ride, the manual clutch, having the 1 down 3 up, more conventional style shifting. The one thing I don't like is, a couple things I don't like. That shifter is, I'm gonna take that little dog leg out of it and make it a little bit longer, and then I need to put it up a little bit higher so it's easier to get my toe under it. And then we've got some bad chain slap on this cover right here. So we're gonna probably grind out a section right there, but I need to take it inside and do a couple of those things. And I think before I do anything else on this one, I'm gonna do a sprocket upgrade on the front. I think I'll leave the 35 on the back, but I think I'm gonna put like a 17 on the front and take it for a ride in with the stock carb and so forth, and just see how that does. But first of all, we gotta go in and fix that shifter and do a couple of little things. So some of you might look at that and go, well, Mike, how in the world are you gonna straighten that? My friends, that's what a BFH is for. Now I'm gonna spare you all the noise as I pound and straighten that out, and hopefully take this completely out of it, just come straight off of that. So give me just 1 second. Let me see if I can't straighten that out. Before I do that, I am curious. So it's about 5 3/4 of an inch from the end to where the rounded part there is. Let's see what we gain. We gain 3/8 of an inch. It's about 6 1/8 of an inch now or so, something along those lines. So between that little little bit more distance, and then I'm actually going to clock it up just a little bit so I can get my toe. I don't have to point my toe down so much. So let's go ahead and throw that back on there. It's kind of dark in here, but you can see where the chain has taken the paint off of that. So we're going to do a little surgery on it. Sorry for the noise. I'm just going to let you guys run here, and I'm probably going to cut it back, an inch and a half or so. Give us plenty of room. Awesome, that's good enough for that. So we'll put that back on. Well, before we put that on, we'll put we'll go check that counter sprocket and see how many teeth it has. Well, as you can see, my workbench is still a mess from where I stripped down the IceBear. So I've just got the Amigo leaning up over here. And it is a 14 tooth counter sprocket. I just counted them. And the rear axle is pushed about as far forward as it can go. So for me to put a larger counter sprocket on it, I'm also going to have to add a link or two to the chain. So I'm probably not going to film it, but I'm going to grab those pieces and throw them on there, and I'll bring you guys back here in just a few minutes. Okay guys, I'm back from run number 2 on the Amigo Rocky, and really the only modification we made was we went from a 14T counter sprocket on the engine to a 17T. Still running the stock carburetor, stock exhaust, unmodified, haven't drilled it or anything. I've got the stock tires on it. Yeah, I did, we changed that shifter and we changed that sprocket. You gotta look at this. So our top speed with the 14T sprocket was what, 46.9 or something like that. 52.7. Wow. Over 5 mile, almost 6 mile an hour difference. All right, no, 46, yeah. 7, anyway, 5 mile an hour difference, whatever it is. My math's not very good. And the best part about it is, not only did we hit that speed, it actually felt really good at that speed. The engine wasn't over revved. When I backed off to just 50 mile an hour, it was just smooth. I'm gonna have to say, after a rocky start with this bike, kind of had not a bad experience from the place I bought it from, but an interesting experience. And then, so I kind of went into this bike with a little bit of a bias, let's say, and it's, then after having some assembly issues, I was like, oh my goodness, wow, what a piece of junk this thing is. Well, it is starting to win me over. I did a swing arm fix on it a couple weeks back, put a couple washer shims in there. The swing arm is nice and tight. It rode really, really nicely. It wasn't hot. The exhaust didn't. I've just been very, very impressed. Now, unfortunately, this is probably all we're going to do on this video. Time constraints for me right now. I got some stuff going on at the house. We're doing new siding, doors, windows, and all kinds of good stuff. So being the control freak I kind of am, I want to be around when they're doing some of that stuff. So I'm not going to have much time in the shop. So it may be another week before we can do the upgrade testing with the, do a different, bigger carburetor and maybe make some modifications to the exhaust and see just how much more than 52.7 we can get. But I'm really excited. And it was just a smooth little ride. So anyway, guys, thanks for following along. Hope you enjoyed the IceBear series, and I hope now you're going to enjoy the Amigo Rocky series. So we will continue to work on it and make a few modifications and see what we can do with it. So anyway, you guys have a great day. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.